Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Entertainor, and welcome back to another video. This video is special because today is Valentine's Day. So, happy Valentine's Day to all the couples over there. I'm single, but who cares? As you read the title, I have something to care about, and that is my car, Conke. If you don't know who Conke is my 1981 Alfa Romeo Spider. So today I'm going to tell you guys my Alfa Romeo journey. And I think this video is going to be I don't know, it took me a very long time to write this, so so let's just get started. So Conke was a project car. My grandmother gave it to me about 3 years ago. Before I was a car guy, I was like a huge weeaboo. So yeah, I was like watching anime, listening Japanese music. Like I was like really into the Japanese stuff. But later on, my grandfather passed away, and my grandmother wanted to get rid of all of his stuff. I got some of his clothes in. And he had some good collection of like very high valuable blazers and sports jackets. So I wore those and that became like a huge legacy in my high school career as the best dress. But that's a different story. But how I got into cars is that I went down to the basement, and the first car I saw was a 1963 Alfa Romeo Giulia Spider. And oh boy, that is a beautiful car. And I like that car because it suit me. It suit the style I was going for, and it's a pretty car. And I told my grandmother I wanted that car. She doesn't want me to have it, but eventually she talked me into the Alfa Romeo Spider, Conke as we know today. Now at first I wasn't really a huge fan of the Spider. But later on I realized like it's like the best car you can jump into in order to start your Alfa Romeo journey. So if you want to work on Alfa Romeos, like the older ones specifically, start working on the Spiders first. And if you want to work on those V6 ones, I'm not really sure about that. I can't really give you an advice of that. And when I look at the car, there's like a lot of things like missing in that car. Like there's no engine, there's no transmission. The wires were all cut up, and at the very bottom of the panels and on front and from the front and the front and the back are like rusty. And then the bumpers were like horrible, because that's why I didn't really like it that much. But I realized that you can like replace those with chrome, so that's what I'm going to do later on. I had a car since November 2017, but I never really worked on it until like March of 2018. And I moved that car from my other grandparents' house from my mother's side. And I just started to work on it. Like I basically gutted the entire car. I removed the seats. I removed almost everything except the dash, the steering wheel, the carpet, and another wiring harness in the trunk. One of the funniest things I found in the Spider was like an empty box of like these magnets that you're supposed to put in your pocket. It's like some kind of replacement for Viagra. I think it's called Magnasex. I forgot what they're called though. And I showed it to my friends, and we all thought it was pretty funny. However, and since we never like had a garage, we had to like put it outside. And since it's like a convertible, you had to, and I live in a place where it rains a lot. I had to find something to cover it up. And you know, the worst thing about where I live is that it rains a lot. Like Georgia is the Vietnam of America. It just rains and rains and rains, you know. Like you can't get enough of it. And so I had two tarps. One just to protect the interior, and then the other one just protects the entire car. It wasn't that solid because like every time there's like a heavy rain and stuff, it just creates like a huge ass pool into the into the interior area, and so I had to like just pick it up and pour it out somewhere else, and so I decided to use the convertible top frame and use that as a top, and then cover everything else with other tarps, and then that worked out pretty fine. The only time it doesn't really work out that well is when it blows, like wind, like harshly, which I fixed that up with bungee cords. Some of them, and I had like the ones with the metal frame, with the metal hooks. The problem with that is like scratch up the paint, but later on I just like, I'm gonna paint it anyway, so why do I care? I haven't really gotten anything done to the car until like around October the 4th of around October of 2018, and that's where I got the engine, and I have like video evidence of it. So I'll pull up some like clips of that. So here you are. Hey guys, we're at a gas station and we're pumping up gas. Well, not anymore. Yeah, not anymore. This is our boy Eli. Oh wow, look at that. Oh yeah. Well, look at that, guys. We got a ricer. Alright. Let's get out of here before we start starting beef, yeah. And so I woke up like around 5, and I got dressed and I was waiting for Eli to pick me up. He came in like way early, and I was like about to like brush my teeth, and he just came in and just like banging on my door like, and he's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." It was like an hour drive, hour from there to an hour back, and there's a lot of good memories that we had. It was pretty funny. You know, when we got to the shop where the engine was at, the owner was like a little bit confused about why we were there, and so I just mentioned my uncle, and he's like, "Oh, okay, so you're his nephew. Hi, my name's Andy." I'm like, "Oh, I'm Devin. Nice to meet you." And you guys may be wondering why like the engine was at the shop. First of all, that engine wasn't belong to me. It was in the Julia, but my grandfather couldn't like put it in the car, which you can do. It's just you gotta do some weird like modifications with it. And so they removed the engine and just left the Julia as a roller right now. And so they had like no place to put it, so they just give it to Andy. And so I told my grandmother, I was like, I should have that engine, you know, so I don't have to spend $2,000 on an engine. And she's like, "It's carbureted." And I'm like, I don't care, I don't mind. I need to learn how to drive cars with carbureted engines. And you know, the owner of that place was like pretty chill, like so chill enough he actually let us record it. And I do have that video like just floating around on my YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that, you're more welcome to watch that. It's filled with a bunch of English cars. Like there's a lot of Jags and Lotuses. And one of the cars that he has is like the rarest one, which is like the 10th Jaguar E-Type. Like it's in bad condition, but it's the 10th Jaguar E-Type ever made. It's so cool it's kind of cool to see one in real life.
They only made about 60 of these cars ever. And it's a Marcos. And this car's one owner since 1968. One owner.
Right.
And it's got 25,000 original miles on it.
Dang.
That's expensive. That's 40 grand. But it's got a wooden chassis. So this is really the 10th E-Type ever made? Yeah. Oh my god. I've got the 20th one ever made as well, and that's at the body shop owned again restoration. And that's another E-Type over there. Oh. This is a 74 Lotus.
Is that a Mark 1 or 2?
That's a Mark 2 Jag.
Oh.
Yeah. This car has got 17,000 original miles on it. 1990. They changed the styling a little bit on the front look. This is kind of a bit more modern looking.
Mine has the hard rubber bumpers.
Yeah, yours is like
Series 2. Yeah.
this little MGB. That's the Jag, and that's just had all of the dash and everything rewired. We've redone all the dash. So that's got a different fuel system in it because the engine is fuel injected, and the original engine wasn't. So we had to put an additional fuel cell in there.
Oh, and there's the battery.
There's the battery up here because it didn't fit in the front. So it has the original 2 fuel cells and that fuel cell. So this car will do about 600 miles before it runs out of gas.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm going to move some cars out.
Alright.
Did you see the Aston?
Oh wow.
Oof. This is a 2003 V12 Aston. And the customer wanted a slightly different finish to the paint. So the paint that was on the car was nice. So we wrapped it.
So by the time he was like moving like all the cars so we can like get the engine, I asked for a ride on like one of those cars because I want to sit down on the passenger side and just be like, this is pretty nice. And so I rode in the Aston Martin. That was a pretty fun ride. And I also rode in the Alfa Romeo Spider 3rd Gen, which is like the best feeling ever to like ride inside of an Alfa Romeo. And he was trying to sell me that Spider, but I was like, nah, I'm too broke. And he's like, well, you know, the mid value of this is 10,000. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still broke.
Okay, we got our engine in right here. It's a 2-liter engine with a hydro clutch. Hopefully this engine will be great for my Alpha. Getting the engine will be a great milestone. But yeah, it was a pain in the ass to latch it on to the truck. But hopefully we can drive through.
And so we got the engine, we strapped it down, and then I had to wait for my uncle. And my uncle has to like drive it, and he was like drifting around to the shop, and he doesn't know where we were. And we're like, hey, we're at the gas station picking up some gas. And he's like, oh, okay. So he came up to us and he's like, yeah, that's a pretty good engine. You may want to buy some more head gaskets just for the future, because sometimes those have a bad tendency of blowing up head gaskets. And I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, so he left off just to do some paperwork, and we just went to Wendy's and get some food.
How are we going to get this engine? Like ship it to the truck.
Let's just eat it on.
Alright.
And so I got to my grandfather's place from my mother's side. I'm just gonna call him by his name, Papa D. So I got into Papa D's place, and we didn't have a cherry picker, which my friend Eli was a little bit pissed off of me of not having. If you guys don't know what a cherry picker is another name for an engine hoist. And so since we didn't have an engine hoist, my grandfather, Papa D, he just like whipped out a tractor and just chained up the engine, lifted it up, and just like lightly placed it down. I mean, I didn't like it, but I was like, well, if it's going to get it out of the truck, then I guess it'll work. And then Eli took me home, but I had to like spend some time with Papa D and my grandmother, Granny B. And so Papa D picked me up, and along with the engine hoist, and some of his friends like came over and helped me out as well. The only problem was like the oil pan didn't like fit onto the car. And so I later on realized that the entire engine and transmission came from a Alfetta, a 116, instead of a Spider, which is a 115. So the oil pan's a little bit different. And so later on I went on Facebook and asked if anyone has a Spire oil pan. Someone did. I bought it from him, and I swapped it out, which was pretty fun.
Out with the old and in with the new. Well, doesn't look very clean as this one. Oh well. Alright guys, so what I am going to do is that I'm gonna remove this gasket here and then transfer it right over here.
Alright guys, I just want to clarify something. I did not reuse the gaskets. I just bought like a gasket maker from an AutoZone, and I cut it out, trim everything that needs to be trimmed. That's all you need to know.
I'll just check you, I'll give you updates on that one.
And then around in January 2nd, 2019, I got all my friends to like come over and help me out put the engine in. And we got it all in, except for the transmission and the prop shaft. Alright? And from the very beginning, when I started this journey, I didn't know anything about cars. And so I didn't know where the transmission goes, like, or where it mounts, which I now know is called a cross member. And so I got the cross member, I have it, and I asked Eli if you want to come over and help me out with it. And so he did, he helped me out. We got the cross member in. And then we were thinking about moving the car to my place. My dad wasn't really a fond of that idea because he doesn't really know where to put it. Eventually, my parents were like, "Yeah, you can park your car over here." And so around the summer, I forgot when I did it. All right, so around June of 2019, I finally parked Conke into my place, and this is how I got the name Conke. So my friend Eli, once we parked it at my place, along with the help of like towing it, Eli, he he looked at the cars like, dude, I love the paint color, like the white and the red. It reminds me of Coca-Cola. I'm like, ah shit, that's a name. Hey, I should name my car Conke, because I like Coca-Cola, and I like saying the word Conke instead of Coke. Because Conke is such a funny way to say it. So, oh, what would you like to drink? I like a cup of Conke. Conke? Yeah, Conke. And then once I got in there, I realized like how much work I could have done. Because later on, like around July the 4th, because on Independence Day, I decided to like remove the old wiring harness and replace it with the new one. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do here is set the wiring harness inside the car and just work our way until we find stuff that we need for the engine in the engine compartment over here and hook anything that we need over there. Looks like I sorted it out pretty well. So I guess I need to shove these wires up here to the bonnet. Okay guys, I got the old wiring harness out. Now it's time to install the new wiring harness. I got it all in, but there's some like weird like wires that don't match up with each other. And that wiring harness came off of a 87 Alfa Romeo, a Series 3. And that was like electronically fuel injected. And mine's carbureted, so I kind of just like removed that. Well, that's really it of the story. There's nothing really much about it. Just that I got to my place and I removed the wiring harness, replaced it back, and also I put the dry shaft in. So once I got the car ready to run, once it runs, it could drive, like literally. I can't really drive the car right now because of the transmission. Clutch fork is in a different position where it's supposed to be. I'm going to keep you guys updated on the Alfa Romeo, hopefully. So you have my word for that. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm Zen Entertainer, and I have some special announcements. So my Alfa Romeo is about to run anytime soon. And so once about that time, I get the car to run and drive, I'm thinking about changing my YouTube channel's name. But the big problem with my YouTube channel is that it's kind of hard to spell my YouTube channel. And so I've been thinking about like changing the name. Once I get the car to run and possibly drive, I'm going to change the YouTube channel. I'm going to change my name on YouTube. So just giving you guys a heads up. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm Zen Entertainer, and I'll see you guys in the next video.